Good afternoon. The presenters of this presentations are Pavlo Lushyn, Montclair State University, United States of America, Yana Sukhenko, University of Education and Management, Ukraine. Ecofacilitative pedagogy as a form of sustainability and social therapy. Table of contents. Introduction. The psycho-emotional state of people during the war in Ukraine is characterized by a significant degree of dynamism and variability. Prolonged uncertainty leads to psychological swings in which individuals experience abrupt changes in their mental state. Effective individual and group forms of non-clinical, psychological, and pedagogical nature are needed to stabilize personality in adversity. These forms should be flexible and have high potential for universal stabilization. Social therapy is presented as a means of ensuring an adequate attitude towards the environment. Psychological markers of the war in Ukraine, pedagogical research to psychological sustainability, literature review. A number of studies reflect the negative experience of the considerable part of the population, which are determined by a radical change in lifestyle, forced immigration, displacement to other regions, loss of loved ones, reduction in social programs, the need to overcome migration stress. Positive phenomena such as cohesion, activation of hidden psychological and social mechanism of self-regulation, and of a certain level of well-being, including psychological, physical, social, and various determinants of resilience, such as cohesion. Emergence of spontaneous and rhythmic personality stabilizations, such as thesis, antithesis, synthesis, and informal aspects of self-organization in the Ukrainian educational ecosystem. The use of innovative forms of training such as SALT, AL, IL, and eco-centered facilitation can help stabilize psychological condition of students and teachers during war adversity. Spontaneous tendency of any even formal system to stabilize itself in critical situation can be related to a form of social therapy. Experimental research on the development of psychological sustainability, Rationale. ICEF course is an intense pedagogical course focused on eco-centered facilitation. The course includes live eco-facilitative sessions with real clients and professional assistants. The course program is designed for 72 academic hours over 2 months. The course involves minimal regulation in terms of intensity and evaluation of results. Students are encouraged to create their own individual learning trajectories and engage in autonomous work such as deliberative practice and reflective essays. Research goal. The research goal is to study social therapeutic potential of eco-facilitative pedagogy as an important factor for social individual stabilization in wartime adversity in Ukraine. Methodology. We studied psychological stabilization through content analysis of reflective essays and reviews. Indicators represented as psychological emergence, emotional, cognitive, behavioral, value spheres, content analysis methods for determining psychological state, attitudes, interests, values, belief systems, factor of stabilization, age, professional, previous educational experience, activity and experience of psychological assistance, and acquired during the course. Professional experience as a practicing psychologist, student, or representative of other professional groups. Previous educational experiences as an indicator of basic psychological education and specialization. Indicators of academic activity, motivation, and success studied through attendance, internship, and deliberative practice. Participants, students of the EI-CEF course, number 51, average age 32, 11% of women, 11% of men, and 88% of women. Participants from various fields: psychology, organization, self-employed, economic, legal, IT, military, artistic. 39% from outside of Ukraine. Sample not homogeneous and or randomized. Statistical processing, descriptives, frequency, cluster analysis, Crystal Vallis test, SPSS statistical package was utilized. Results and discussions. Table manifestation of the studied parameters in typological groups. Typology of development and stabilization. Results and discussions. Typology of development and stabilizations. We've discovered 4 groups. Type 1, professionals. 23% of participants. Oldest group with significant professional psychological experience, good educational experience, and stabilization in eco-facilitative approach. Convincing educational and professional psychological background, stable in terms of emotional, cognitive, and behavioral dynamics. Type 2, those who are interested, interessants. 35% of participants, moderate evolutionary development, most distant from professional psychological activities, involved in optional activities of the course. Personal and psychological development associated with evolutionary changes. Type 3, beginners. 19.6% of participants, persistent in learning and mastering eco-facilitation, very dynamic in personal development. Youngest group with a significant proportion of applicants for psychological education, maximal inclusion in main classes of the course, and cautious practice in classroom as counselors and supervisors. Type 4, observers, advanced and beginners. 21% of participants support psychological balance, includes professional psychologists and representatives of other professions. Not very active in learning process, mainly participate in basic training sessions to observe and discuss life psychological case. Personal and psychological dynamics is minimal. The results obtained allows us to formulate the following conclusions. First, the hypothesis confirmed that experimental education and therapeutic format of accelerated preparation on future professionals, psychologists in particular, in the context of non-formal education. This form of education can be attributed to social therapy, which creates conditions for the implementation of various strategies for the personal growth and development of students. Secondly, age. Professional psychological experience may influence the dynamic of psychological stabilization. Most convincing factors are the educational experience of psychological specialization, staying in the educational and therapeutic environment, and the possibility of performing various types of educational activities within existing intrinsic motivation and developmental trajectories. Thirdly, the strategies of learning and psychological stabilization in terms of development and change are manifested non-linearly and are represented by dynamically changing types of observer, actively interessants, persistent students, professionals. These types reflect some trends in a wide range of unique strategies for personality stabilization and development, from passive observation to active practicing with oneself and others at different stages of the professional and life pathways. Fourthly, staying in a developing educational and psychological environment constitutes the antithesis for exposure to the military environment, which opens up a certain prospect for psychological well-being, resilience of an individual and therefore society. References. Thank you. Our presentation is over.